There's breaking news just coming in. Reports of U.S. President Joe Biden's surprise visit to Ukraine. Amid air raid sirens in the center of the capital, President Biden appears to be on Kyiv's main square in the city center. That's the latest coming in. U.S. showing solidarity with war-ravaged Ukraine now. Reports of U.S. President Biden's surprise visit to Ukraine is our top story at the moment. And amidst the air raid sirens in the center of the capital, President Joe Biden appears to be on Kyiv's main square in the city center. So there is U.S. showing solidarity with war-ravaged Ukraine at the moment. We're getting news of how he has visited Ukraine ahead of the war anniversary. Biden's Ukraine visit, our top focus at the moment. Ahead of the war anniversary, Biden has landed in Ukraine. Biden and Zelensky will be walking together in Kyiv. Latest coming in right there, breaking news ahead of war anniversary. Biden comes to Ukraine and Biden and Zelensky are going to be taking a walk around Kyiv as well. So U.S. going out there to show solidarity to war-ravaged Ukraine. We'll get you, Geeta Mohan, to bring you up to speed with the latest that is coming in. But Biden showing solidarity right there with Ukraine. In fact, we are getting you all the latest in terms of what his plan of action is. He also in the past has shown a lot of solidarity with other European nations as well, and this one is of course at war-ravaged Ukraine. We're getting you the latest details as they're trickling in at the moment. Shiv Arur joins us for more on this. Shiv, what does this visit of U.S. President Joe Biden mean for Ukraine in terms of optics, in terms of U.S.'s relationship with Ukraine, and also if you could tell us a little bit about what the plan of U.S. President Joe Biden is while he's in Ukraine?
Very, very symbolic visit and extremely significant in the circumstances. Remember, we're just a few days away from the first anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In the last 1 year, an untold amount of NATO weaponry has been poured into Ukraine, giving this engulfed country a fighting chance against a much larger adversary, which is China. A huge amount of damage has already happened, but in many ways, the situation currently in Ukraine is a lot worse than it once was. After untold destruction, cities completely leveled, and NATO not willing to go the whole hog in terms of supporting Ukraine, with Ukraine continuing to ask for that no-fly zone over the war-torn country. The fact is, there are many open-ended questions right now. What exactly does Biden really bring to the table? We've seen a great amount of weaponization of Ukraine, a lot of unplanned, resources being diverted into Ukraine, which has added to the great confusion within that country. But that hasn't stopped the damage. It has reduced what was, a hot fight, a hot war, into a grinding war where there are lots of casualties, a huge amount of infrastructural damage, the extent to which recovery seems very, very difficult at this point of time. So one's going to have to wait and see whether Biden's surprise arrival in Kyiv to meet Volodymyr Zelensky is going to be beyond just a symbolic. Is it just a show of support? Is it just an assurance of continued support? I don't think Zelensky honestly is going to be very happy with that, because a lion's share of the categorical requests from Ukraine have not been actually met by the NATO or the United States. Apart from big talk, assurances, platitudes of solidarity, not very much has been done in terms of the material support that NATO can actually afford, apart from a few countries pumping in a steady stream of advanced weaponry. While that is very important, it's going to be important to see whether Biden announces something big. 1 full year of the invasion of Ukraine is a huge milestone. There still appears to be no end in sight, to the conflict and the hostilities. So we'll have to wait and see what President Biden says.
Absolutely, Shiv. Continue to be with us right there. Gaurav Sawant also joins us from the newsroom. Gaurav, you've been there in war-torn Ukraine as well. As Shiv was mentioning, all the support coming in from NATO or America has been a bit of a lip service. And hence, how do you view this particular visit of Biden in that context?
This is a major show of solidarity with Ukraine. 24th of February would be 1 year of the Russian initially special operations and subsequently war in Ukraine. And 1/3 of Ukraine or thereabouts have been lost to this Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now, President Zelensky has repeatedly been asking for longer range, more lethal weapons, longer range missiles. He's also seeking fighter jets and air-to-air missiles, none of which appear to be coming from the NATO countries and within NATO. Of course, the fact that Ukraine has been able to fight on for a year, but also look at the cost that's been involved according to some reports. And of course, this isn't officially confirmed either by Russia or by Ukraine, but about 2 lakh soldiers have been killed and maimed in this war in the past 1 year. So President Joe Biden going to Ukraine is a very, very major symbolic step. But what's beyond the symbolism? Is there bigger military hardware coming Ukraine's way, especially when not all NATO members are on the same page? Because remains, that big sticky issue as far as US and other NATO countries are concerned.